Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do our August 27th just for today in a meditation. Hope you're doing well this morning. It's good to be with you. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. The title of the meditation for today is Choosing Life. Change from self-destructive patterns of life became necessary. That's taken from our basic text, page 15. Active addiction is a smoldering death wish. Each of us courted death every time we used our lifestyles to put us at risk. The life of an addict is sold cheaply with every day and every dose. In recovery, the first pattern we change is the pattern of using. Staying clean is the start of our journey into life. But our self-destructive behavior usually went far deeper than just our using. Even in recovery, we may still treat ourselves as if we are worthless. When we treat ourselves badly, we feel badly. And when we feel badly, we seek relief, maybe even in our old solution, drugs. Choosing recovery means choosing life. We decide each day that we want to live and be free. Each time we avoid self-destructive behavior, we choose recovery. Just for today, I will choose life by choosing recovery. I will take care of myself. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. So we're talking about choosing life. And I know that when I was using, a lot of the time, even in between the using, I was a very depressed individual, very unhappy. And I was able to disguise that discontent with laughter, with helping other people. I did a lot of different things to try and take my mind away from the fact that I loathed myself. I hated myself. And I know that many people listening today can probably relate. And the unfortunate part about this process was that once I put the drug down, I still had the feelings to deal with. So when it says that we seek relief, oftentimes, right, in our old solution, drugs, we do. I can say, at least for myself, I sought relief when I was using, I was seeking to be able to push these bad, negative thoughts and feelings away from myself. Even my behaviors were a result, had a result of me using. So if I acted badly, right? If I acted promiscuously, right? If I acted hateful, right? If I was, this individual that people can't stand to be around, I would have have the action and then later have to deal with the consequence internally for the action. I would be beating up on myself quite a bit because I had higher expectations even for myself. Even if I was not feeling well, depressed, angry, I still had this internal thing that said, you're better than that. Why are you acting like that? And so this negativity inside my head, it never stopped. And so the only relief that I could find from that was to use. And then that was something else, because it seemed like it took the feeling away, but only increased the behavior. So it allowed me to deaden my emotions, not pay as much attention to them, but that made room for me to continue to behave, and not only continue, but to increase in whatever behavior I was having. So what happens when we come to, what happens when we are having a moment of clarity, is that all of the memories and thoughts come flooding in and begin to overwhelm you. And so, what would I do in that moment? I'd have to seek the next dose. And so, this meditation is very real to me. But that was choosing death. So now I'm clean, right? I get here August 28th of 1993. I'm clean. I come into the program, and what do I learn? Oh my goodness. I learned that I was still having the same negative thoughts. The only thing different was that I was enduring the pain of those memories without using drugs, right? But the thoughts were still there. And that's why we say the picking up the drug is just a symptom of the disease. The disease of addiction is very mental, very mental. And then it has symptoms that you can read physically that will tell you that you are not well. You have the disease of addiction. And so what's important is that we remember that once we put the drug down, that is the very first thing, the very first pattern that we actually change. But the destructive behavior is something that will continue to be there unless we do what we call the work. The work must be done in order for an individual to recognize when they're in that self-destructive mode. And when you do the work, you're able to figure out what your patterns were. What were the things that you were doing on a consistent basis? What did your relationships look like? What resentments are you holding? Right? And you're able to identify those things in your step 4. And as you progress forward into those steps, what happens is that now you can see yourself coming. You have identified what your character defects are. You have done that. In the 5th step, you've not hidden the things that you've written. You've shared them with at least one person. So you're not going to be as sick as your secrets, because hopefully those secrets have been exposed by you to one other person and God in that 5th step. But when you're moving into the 6th step, the 6th step material should be coming directly from having had identified your patterns. I'm hoping I'm making sense, because I am very tongue-tied today, but I don't want to stop what I'm talking about, because I know what I'm talking about in regards to understanding what it is I'm supposed to be getting from these steps. And so now I have something that is of substance. I have a tool in my hand that says, okay, these are your character defects. These are the things that you are known to operate out of. And now that you know that you have them, you can see them. Hopefully, you're able to identify internally when you're starting to act out on these character defects. And the acting out is what we call those shortcomings in step 7, that you're humbly asking God to remove them from you. And so when I make a decision to choose life, starting with not using drugs anymore, do not be surprised when you see that the self-destructive behavior remains. But we don't bring you into this. We don't say Narcotics Anonymous works for nothing, right? We don't pull you into, right, through attraction into Narcotics Anonymous and leave you standing there by yourself. If you're standing there by yourself, it's probably because in some form or fashion you're choosing that. But we have the solution. We have something that is for addicts, by addicts. The therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel.